Welcome, everyone, and thank you for coming to the People's Meeting. First and foremost, I thank you all for coming, whether you've come as a wanderer or a member of a kingdom. All of you are welcome in Wonder's Post. You've surely all come a long way, so please make yourself comfortable within this area, as you all already have. On a more serious note, as I'm sure you all know, there's a reason for this meeting to be taking place, and I hope all of you can find the time to relate to others. And if you cannot find anything in common with your fellow people, let the one thing that you have in common be your faith in speaking out for what is right. As I'm sure you all know, the skulk infestation among our land has grown harsher and harsher as the days go by. More people have become infected, each with their own strain of symptoms. Most of us can name the infected, or even more than one, whether it be our family, our friends, or our neighbors. We want to know the truth about what has been. We as a people want to know the truth about what has been turning the people we once trusted into ones that we can't. Time and time again, the highest governments of the kingdoms have proven that they cannot be trustworthy. Most recently, it came in the exposing of the Plains Viceroy, Ivy, as someone among the infected. This was while Ivy was at the Viceroy press conference. And it was not by the press, no. Not even by the fellow viceroys, but a citizen. They did not want that secret out. And in an attempt to hide it, they then announced the names of the new viceroys as they could manage to hide, as if they could manage to hide any of the damage that had already been done. Can the governments be trusted? Can the Skulk investigators, who also helped keep it a secret, be trusted? They've made mistakes, of course. Everyone's made mistakes. But have they been made of their own blindness for the errors in their ways? Have those errors been corrected? I'm not sure about such a thing, if I'm to be honest. See, these Skulk investigators and the detective came into my town. They wanted to ask me questions about the Skulk. And who am I to have immediate faith in them? After all, I'm a wanderer. I'm not someone who so easily and blindly trusts anyone. And I was not sure if they were friend or foe. And in such a case, I felt the need to ask them questions of my own, as they meant to question me. They stated themselves during this strand of questioning that the reason that Ivy, the Viceroy of the Plains, was not exposed was because she was a member, or is, mind you, a member of the government. Because they did not want people to fear the government. They did not want people to lose faith in the government. And not to lose faith in the kingdoms as well. Of course, it sounds reasonable until you remember that even still, they had Ivy in public, they had Ivy among the people, they had Ivy at the Viceroy press conference surrounded by her own constituents, other kingdoms' citizens, other people that were subject to the Skulk. And I know many people may be aware or unaware of the spread of Skulk, but are we still willing to still put citizens in harm's way? Are we still willing to potentially have people get infected by the very same thing that's been infecting people for the last few months at this point? Why would we put our citizens in such a danger to have them contract the very same thing that the Viceroy of the Plains has had? I mean, would you want Skulk? Do you want Skulk? I mean, I certainly don't. So why would they take such a risk to have you be infected just as Ivy is? Now, that is a decision all of you must make. And of course, this is your place not to make that decision, but to get to the potential place where you can make that decision. I don't want any of you to feel as if this is meant to force you or to push you in that decision, but only to educate you and have you know what your fellow citizens believe. There are, of course, a few people that have asked to speak, and I'm more than happy to allow them to do so. Our very first is Nyx Aether, who I totally did not write what your position was. 1 second. Who is the Royal Council of the Desert Kingdom.
Okay. This is a long book. Okay. Thank you. So first, I'd like to mention what's going on within the Desert Kingdom. We aren't, to my knowledge, completely exiling people, which is, I would like to personally say, a stance I never agreed with. We're going to be making a quarantine spot for the infected, but I'm not here to talk about the desert. I'm here to talk about one of the towns I own, Dragonspire. In the town, I am working on building a hotel for infected people to go to if they need to. There will be rooms for people that you can decorate yourself however you wish. If you wish to build your own house, it will be a safe place for people who are infected if you've been turned away from your home. I've also been asked by a friend of mine to mention a town he's working on because he can't be here today. His name is Benefactor. His town is going to be a safe haven for infected people, and it'll be basically like a containment, but mainly keeping enemies out and keeping people who are infected safe. And there will be medical setup, mainly just for checking vitals and making sure everyone is okay and as healthy as they can be, even if they are infected. And should any Skulk investigators want to go into the town, there will be an escort with them the entire time. Both our goals is to keep infected people safe. Like I said, I don't agree with the experimenting on or locking up people just because they're affected or exiling them. And just because I understand a lot of people don't like government right now, the governments. But I would like you to keep in mind that just because the government has made a decision, not everybody in that government agrees with the decision. Prime example, I don't currently agree with my government's decision on how to treat the infected people like they're enemies when they're not. They're just people who need help. And I personally believe that is something everybody needs to remember. Infected people just need help. They are not to be treated as enemies or as some experimentation. That was all I had to say.
All right. The next person wishing to speak, and thank you, by the way. Next person wishing to speak is Dread. If you would come up here, Dread.
Okay. I just wasn't expecting to speak so soon. Okay. I can work with this. Greetings, everyone. I hope we are well on this most wonderful day. First of all, I'd like to begin by saying thank you, CAD, for inviting us to such a wonderful event, and thank you all for thank you for allowing us all to speak our minds. I am currently a town owner known as Elementaria, and currently we are in a town in the sky. And we are currently a town in the sky, and my stance on currently the Skulk situation is simply this. I personally, and I know this may be a hard decision, Personally, I shall not be allowing. Um, can everyone hear me first of all? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Um, um, anyways, continuing on. I shall not be allowing people who are too far along with their skull convection, where their skull confection are starting to take over their mind and body, or mind, um, into my town. I know this personally is a interesting stance to take, considering, but I feel as if, um, in my opinion, just allowing certain people to infect other people is bad. And this is not to say, however, I will not be offering aid to such people who need it. Me personally, I shall make sure to set up tents, um, at least somewhere near my town, to offer them aid and medical relief and such. But in my personal opinion, I feel as if they sh- they should not be in my town. That is my opinion, at least. Um, let's see. Also, the factor of going to my opinion on the investigators and such. I feel they are overstepping their bounds and such, and acting in such a hasty manner that they cannot commit a accurate sort of check on what's going on with the infected and such. As stated by the person before me, I feel the fact we allowed the skulk to be such an important government official such as Ivy. That this is I will state for the record, this is not me shaming Lady Ivy or anything, but this is simply me shaming the results of the plain government and kind of their result of allowing people inside um, government positions when they're clearly quite infected, and allowing themselves to be taken more over by the skull. Personality change. That is what I will not allow in my town. If anything besides that shall be allowed in my town. Um, I know other people have to talk, and I do apologize for talking so long. Thank you all for your time, and I shall settle the stage now. Thank you again, Ken, for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course. All right, we have another person speaking, and that is Lara Faye, who is an ambassador of the Plains Kingdoms. If you'd come up on stage. We have one set of steps.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. Me? Okay. Before I say anything as an ambassador, I want to say something as a person. I have neighbors who are infected, and I have people who I care about deeply who are also infected. I'm not standing up here looking at this as some distant map or problem on the map. This is affecting people I know and people I care about, just like it's affecting so many of you. That's why I want everyone to know that we are taking this seriously. Now, as someone who works in the Plains government, I can tell you we are trying our best to stop this outbreak at its source and protect as many people as we can. We don't have all the answers. If we did, then this meeting would be a lot shorter. But people are working hard, and no one is treating this like it's someone else's problem. I also know that not everyone is here because they're worried about the skulk. Some people are angry about other things. Some people have frustrations with the government. Some people feel like they've been ignored or that certain issues haven't been handled well. Um, I hear that, and I don't think it's fair to pretend those feelings suddenly disappear because there's an outbreak. People are allowed to feel upset, people are allowed to disagree, and everyone is allowed to demand better. At the same time, I think we all have something bigger in common right now. We don't want to lose more people. And when I say people, I mean the infected too. They're not statistics, they're not just a problem to be solved, and they are not lost causes. They are our family, our friends, our neighbors, and they deserve better than this. They're people we laugh with, they're people we work with, and we care about them. They deserve every chance we can give them to recover, and they deserve a future beyond this infection. That's why stopping the outbreak matters. Not just because we want to survive this, but because we want to bring as many people home as possible. Whether you are a government official, a citizen, a critic, or someone who's just exhausted by all of this, we are all waking up every day hoping the people we care about are safe. I know I am. So, I'm not asking anyone to forget their concerns or stop holding us accountable. I think it's good for us to have feedback from people. But I'm just asking that while we deal with these things, we don't lose sight of the fact that we're facing this together. Because at the end of the day, the person standing next to you is probably worried about somebody that they love too. Thank you.
That was very well spoken.
All right, thank you so much for that, Laro Faye. Lovely name, by the way. The next person up is Ren Salad, who is the Royal Magistrate of the Plains Kingdom.
Can you all hear me? I'd first like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. It it truly does mean a lot to get everyone's voices. The Plains Kingdom, we do acknowledge that there is a growing issue in regards to the skulk. We know of so many people hurt. We know of so many people who are trapped by this infection, and we're doing all that we can, but without the proper research, without all the knowledge, we can't feasibly make how do I put it? We can't feasibly make larger, more drastic moves. We don't know enough currently. I feel like leading up to this situation, I feel like a lot of precautions by the Plains government haven't properly been enforced, haven't properly been put in place, and we acknowledge that. We acknowledge that we could have been doing more this entire time, and we are striving to make sure that we can do more. Because everybody, not just plain citizens, matters. Every person in every kingdom, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, we need your help. And it's imperative that we all stand united at this time. In regards to Ivy, I it's a difficult situation. We shouldn't have kept it hidden, but at the same time, I want everybody to remember that she is a person too. She's being affected the same as everybody else, and we shouldn't villainize her based on the infection. Thank you.
Infected lives matter. Infected. Yes.
That's good. Yeah, infected lives matter, guys. Don't forget that. Okie dokie. We have another person up, which is. If, I'm gonna butcher this name probably. If Ifira Stallard, who is the mayor of Sfiorna and founder of Kumish. I hope I didn't butcher that.
Hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, let me. Okay. Now we can. Okay, okay. Thank you for inviting me up here. I'm very thankful. I am Afra. However, some have known me as Vex. Have found in my town, Sabornia, many citizens have gone missing. One of which had been interacting with an affected, but immediately got imprisoned and put into unsafe conditions. Those who have gone missing, I know wouldn't leave without a trace, which leads me to be suspicious as to where they have might have been taken. There needs to be care for those who are infected. But the fact that there's been inhumane treatment, but while others have been left free, it is very unjust. Along with the fact that these people have been taken without anyone being told. I have not been told where my wife is, where my friends are. They are gone. I hope to one day figure out where my wife went. For now, I need to I need to help the infected. That is all.
All right. Thank you for that. And the next person up is Axel, who is a member of the Snow Kingdom. Wherever you are, buddy.
Making one thing clear real quick, I am not a member of Snow. I just have some thoughts on it.
Whoops.
Yeah. I am not a member of Snow Kingdom, I just have a few thoughts. I have seen a large spread of skulk, and I have a few ideas on it, and so far from what I have seen, it does seem to be smart. I feel as it is targeting higher ups. I do not know if anyone else has. I've not been able to talk to many people about it. But I have noticed it is targeting the higher ups. And it seems it most likely is going after those who are in power and trying to go after water sources or anything that could be related to keeping people safe. That is all I have. I'm not a member of Snow.
Okay, everybody ignore the loud noise of the phantoms while we're at it.
Loud
Right,
and correct
next.
buzzer.
All right, the next person up is Astriel, who is a member of the Snow Kingdom, and they are a member of the ruling council.
I understand the people are scared.
And I encourage the people here to speak up while I talk because I want to answer questions. I want to answer questions, dispel rumors, and help the people because that's what the government is supposed to do. I know the skulk is scary, and I know its effects on people are drastic. I understand it, the fear of it. I also understand that there's places to learn from it. That does not mean I support the behaviors and the things that are being done to the infected, but I do support trying to learn from them and trying to help them. I never want our citizens to suffer, but I don't think we should stay in the dark forever. That is all I have.
Did anyone have any questions while they're up here?
Me.
I had a question.
Two
Me.
people. All right, one at a time, if you'd please.
I'll go first because I can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How are people getting infected? Why are so many people getting infected?
Why are people getting infected and the amount of
Why are
them?
there and where are they going?
I don't know where they're going. I'm kept in the dark on that. That is only because I'm so new to the government.
I'm going to
Though I
tell
do know
them.
that they're getting infected because the skulk is latching onto their souls.
I'm gonna call
It
Cap.
feeds off of
I have a feeling you actually know what's going on and you're hiding it from us. So
where they're going, you mean?
no, everything else about just everything, honestly. I mean, I'm a little anarchist, so.
Mm.
Yeet, 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 yeet.
As for where the people are going, I don't know. The skulk
Whatever.
latches onto souls,
Really,
and
because I was
it
just
feeds
munching
off
on
of the
some.
weaker ones. It
Really, because I was just
feeds
munching
off
on
of.
some a couple minutes ago.
Are you weak-willed?
No?
Then you are less likely to get infected. Should you interrupt me again, I won't be very happy about it. That is not to
Oh,
say
or
I'm
what?
rude. Anyway, I will just continue to ignore you.
Whatever.
Mr. Stallard, did you have a
coward.
question to ask?
I did. In your case, what policies would you recommend other kingdoms to implement? I know the desert has stricter policies than most kingdoms, so can I help you? I'm sorry.
Sorry.
While
I'm in
others
war.
are talking,
Sorry.
I recommend you remain quiet.
If you need them escorted out, let us know.
That is not fair to them. They are here for a meeting. What policies would I recommend implementing? We have 4 documented cases. This may seem irrelevant. We have 4 documented cases that I'm aware of. And they all take place in the same town. But the people there who are infected seem to be better in the infection stages because of either the temperature or even it is probably the temperature. However, I feel that the way they're being treated may throw the skulk off. Like Axel has stated before me, it's intelligent. It is an intelligent being or thing, whatever it is. policies remain humane just because they may seem less like people and more like creatures makes them no less like people than anything. They still were people, and they should remain treated that way. The people who walk in that town are treated like people still. I think that's the way it should be.
Are there any
Any
more
more questions?
questions?
I do. Oh,
Uh,
you first.
Anarchy! Yay!
So just as more of a curiosity question, are you saying you believe the skulk is sentient?
It seems to behave that way.
So, like just a second organism living within the same body?
From what I've observed from the infected I've seen, that's how it feels to me. Is that they are just second organisms, like parasites, maybe? They
Would
still live
that
and breathe and feed, but they're not entirely there.
would that imply that all of them are connected as well?
Uh, by strain, maybe. But overall, the skull seems to work like a hive mind. It's intelligent and it shares information.
So like an alien?
I've
Thank you.
I've walked some of the kingdoms and I've seen it attacking water sources in multiple different locations. How would Skulk in one area know to attack the same thing if it's in another without it being connected?
I'm sorry, Riptide, I'm gonna interrupt here. Um, just because I genuinely have a question. So, it's sentient?
That's how it feels to
Okay,
me.
but that doesn't answer my
And to
question, is
other,
it? Is it
is
living?
it?
Is it living?
Yes. It still feeds.
So, so why don't we just kill it at the source?
If we knew how to kill it. Living things
Yes.
still have a way to
I'm gonna
die.
pop.
It's just a matter of finding it.
Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'll stop now.
That's okay. Any more questions?
I have
I
one.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
my god, we have so many questions. Is it okay if I go first?
yes.
All right.
I can wait my turn till the end.
hmm Hello. My name is Finley, and I am a doctor, and I have been traveling some, and I've seen just how much damage the skull can do and what it's done. And my question is, why is the information that has been gained from this research on the infected not been passed out to the public? So many more lives could be saved if we knew what we were doing, but we don't.
As many lives as could be saved, there are also many that could be lost by sheer ignorance or panic. Maybe somebody ingested something that could have possibly been touched by Skulk. Maybe in the case of the water, maybe if somebody drank some water that may have not even been touched or infected, maybe somebody drank some and then got paranoid or was thinking they could possibly be infected. It causes more panic. The kingdoms, as I am aware, are not trying to be malicious and hiding the information we have. We are simply trying to be careful in what is released.
I understand. Thank you for answering.
Of course. Next.
Mhm. Before I continue, person who spoke before me, I'm also a doctor, and I would like to confirm my research with you after this, if you do not mind. That is number one.
I would be glad to meet with you.
Wonderful. Continuing on. Um, I regarding skulk procedure and how are you how are you handling the skulk procedures in your procedures regarding it?
Procedures is in medical procedures? I'm just
Yes,
confirming.
that is
Medical
fine.
procedures I wouldn't be aware of. The one who would be aware of any medical procedures related to Skulk is not present at the moment. I do
That
apologize
is
for being unable to answer this.
it is quite fine. Um, it's quite fine. Thank you for trying to answer my question, though. I do appreciate your time and input on things.
Of course, I try. Mm. Do I have any further questions?
I'd like to ask a question,
Let
please.
Pancake get a question.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
go ahead.
Uh, okay. I just wanted to ask that if you would suggest that skulk, those who are infected by skulk, um, would report themselves so those who are infected can be in one container.
Would I suggest they report themselves?
Yes.
Yes and no. I suggest yes because you can get help. You can be seen medically. And I suggest no because I've seen and heard of the conditions that the people who are infected are living in at the moment. I have no fear
How-
of saying something wrong. So I will say the way people are being held who are infected isn't great. That is the only reason I say no. I still say yes because being helped and there being a chance of being saved is still better than nothing.
Okay, thank you for your time for
Of
us
course.
answering my question.
I have a question to counter that,
One
if that's
second.
all right.
I think for now, we're going to do one more question from Pancake, who has been asking for a moment, and then I think
Yes,
we'll
Pancake, go
in
ahead.
the questions because it's been going on for a little while. And it's just one person that's going right now, so
All good.
Go ahead. Are they in MC chat?
they're in Louisville. They're typing
Oh,
right
I
now.
can't see it then. I
I'll
can't see them.
I'll read it out whenever they send it.
Okay, thank you.
Can someone play the big soundboard? Oh, there we go. Never mind. Don't do that. They said, "Hello, I'm the head archivist of the Plains Kingdom. I have to say that I also know close to nothing about the Skulk. Doesn't this show that there's an inherent problem with how our government is structured if the new people know nothing?"
An inherent problem if the inner government doesn't know. It's not my place to say. But personally, I would think yes, if even the government doesn't know. I feel that even if the people are trying to be protected, at least the ones in power should know, because it's not fair to them to be telling those they're protecting no, and that they can't know if they don't even know. It seems hypocritical.
All right. I believe that is it for questions. So I think we'll be moving on to the next person. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak, Astro. All right. The next person that is going to speak today is a citizen named Will. That's all the information I've got on it. It's just Will. So if you'd be able to come up and speak, please.
Can everyone hear me? It is nice to meet all of you. Some of you I've already met on my rare occasions walking around the world. But my name is Will. I am currently acting as a architect in the plains. Primarily, I do mining for the plains and gathering resources needed around the place. But I have minimal knowledge of the going-ons around the place, but I do know that I stand among the infected, and in the process of learning about what has been happening to those who are also infected, I did not like what I had heard. So in my spare time, I've been building. We will take any who are wanting or seeking shelter, any who feel uneasy, any who feel unsafe. We will take you in. We are still under construction, so it's pretty bare bones at the moment. But we will be happy to take anyone who would like to. That is basically all I have to say. It is nice seeing you all. I will keep my distance.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking. The next person coming to speak up will be. Guys, I'm so sorry if I butcher some of these names, okay? I guess might shoot me in the head if I butcher this, but I'll try to say it right. Ankmondal? Ankmondal? Something like that. Please don't kill me.
All right, thank you for having me. I would like to say as a preface, I am not the original writer of the words you are about to hear. The person who has requested me to speak these words in their place is an anonymous writer who, due to the history of the kingdoms having not protected the speech rights of reporters and journalists throughout their mainland, they feel that it would be unsafe for them to speak their opinions with their face and name being known, as evidenced by several recent journalist deaths throughout the kingdom. Also, OOC, out of character note here, I recently contracted a really bad cough, so if I like break off for like 15 seconds, my bad, gangling. Gotta pull up this shit. This is an slightly edited version of their recent publication. With the recent Viceroy press conference, it is safe to say that people across all the mainland kingdoms, whether citizens who considered them home or traveling pirates and wanderers, are more than merely upset. During this press conference, many discoveries were had, and few were met with a warm reception. Ali Woolflower publicly exposed the Plains Kingdom Viceroy, Ivy Kelding, as having been infected for several months, and in an attempt to recover the situation, 3 new viceroys were announced for the Water, Desert, and Nether Kingdoms. Both announcements brought several concerns of government transparency. The new viceroys being announced at a random press conference is almost universally considered a poor decision. There was no prior warning, there was no build up to it, and such an announcement should have been worthy of its own event, able to be widely publicized to the masses. Instead, 3 massive shifts in international power were used as a way to combat backlash for a secret held by the Plains Kingdom. Citizens who didn't tune into this random press conference had no way of knowing there had been so many new viceroys implemented except through word of mouth and other independent media sources. Such a definitively unprofessional move certainly does not make governments appear entirely prepared media wise. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, I got this. Sorry, something just. Bleh. The announcement of greatest concern, of course, was the fact that the second highest ranking individual in the Plains Kingdom government, its very own viceroy, was infected. Researchers, scientists, and medical professionals with expertise in the skulk concluded that Ivy Kelting is at least on the 4th stage of the infection, if not having already progressed to its 5th stage. The fact that such a crucial update on the condition of the kingdom's de facto leader behind the ruler was entirely kept from not only the Plains Kingdom, but all the kingdoms as a whole. This fact has been met with extreme shock and mass discontent. There have been many claims by the government made that the secret was kept to prevent the spread of mass panic. Keeping it entirely hidden has been disapproved by many. The Plains government had the opportunity to control the release of this information in a manner to ensure the populace remained informed of the condition of their leaders and their suitability to rule, and they failed to take it, hand only forced by a citizen being willing to speak out. It's also been noted that Ivy Kelting was not previously held to the same standards as other people who have fallen victim to the skulk infection. The general consensus amongst the kingdoms had previously been that everyone who has been confirmed to be infected be sent to one of the many quarantine centers throughout the kingdoms. The viceroy had instead been performing her duties generally as usual, sent to a home in the Snow Kingdom unsupervised. During this time, it was discovered that she had killed several people and had been feeding their corpses to the skulk in the basement. The government failed to act on this discovery, as seen when the journalist Aegis Arche had been kidnapped by her for 2 weeks and kept in that same basement, which still contained the corpses and the immense skulk growth that they already knew was there. The Plains government response to this was simply to place more security on her and to have the journalist swear secrecy about his own kidnapping, again under the excuse that it was all to prevent mass panic and distress. Though she was later moved to a quarantine center and then later to a private cell, the fact that this process took so long is unacceptable, with several lives lost, hurt, and otherwise permanently impacted thanks to government preference of protecting its viceroy's image rather than the people it rules over. Many plain citizens have been left reeling. If their government is willing to hide this much from them simply because they didn't want to frighten their people with reasonable information they would like to know, how much else would it be willing to hide from them? Their lack of transparency is frightening and brings to question how much the governments truly intend to protect its people. Furthermore, there's been deep concern over the return of the exiled detective Emmy Acheron. After 7 years, she returns, and it appears that with him comes the trust and respect of every government, which is frankly fascinating. The detective, whose position as a Plains affiliated figure, has remarkably been granted a significant amount of control over the investigation of the Skulk infection and the Caves Kingdom, and seemingly to a solo degree at that, the Skulk investigators reporting directly to them. Knowing what we know now about the Plains Kingdom, it is hard to have full faith in his ability to go forth in her investigation in an entirely unbiased manner. It is also hard to believe that all of the governments are willing to have enough trust in the detective to let her, after 7 years, hold the reins on an international threat impacting every single kingdom and every single person that resides on the mainland. This kind of power should not be handed to one individual from one kingdom, certainly not. On the matter of these Skulk investigators, heavy concerns have been made about their competency and the way those who have been infected are treated under their care. Though several quarantine centers have been constructed around the kingdoms to host them, they are hardly of the best condition. They are sterile, white facilities with cramped, even claustrophobic rooms granted to each patient. The buildings are constructed with significant amounts of glass, allowing for minimal privacy even within their own rooms. The operating room of one quarantine center investigated was observed to be particularly unsanitary, blood remaining on multiple surfaces in between procedures. Many quarantined individuals describe the conditions to be dehumanizing, abusive, and entirely unethical. Though the Skulk investigators themselves may not have partaken in this treatment, they have evidently set up the conditions in which that treatment is allowed to occur. Continuing there, many escapes have been recorded from quarantine centers, suggesting that the actual security of these quarantine locations is poor or entirely incompetent. This sort of treatment regarding the infected will only serve to terrify and encourage those who are infected to remain silent about their condition out of fear of being treated unjustly, bringing us all a step back in progress in containing the spread of the infection. And of course, while the Plains Kingdom government may have the most egregious failures to operate with open communication to its citizens, other governments have had their fall as well. The Water Kingdom and the Sky Kingdom, for instance, have had easily verifiable instances of employing the labor of children in their government. Rio Kingsman and Estrella Daenerys Eclipse, for instance, were both employed as hands of the viceroy in their governments, the former being 14 and the latter being 13. Rio was reported to have essentially little idea of what to do in his position, merely signing documents and passing them along. And while Estrella proved to be fairly competent in her position, the stresses and dangers such a powerful role in government cause are nowhere near acceptable for children. Though this practice may be considered a product of the time we live in, with children frequently being enlisted as soldiers during the 7-Year War, it is the government's responsibility to ensure that it does not remain a common practice. Frankly, the governments as a whole seem to have failed to protect the youth of their kingdoms and apparently will continue to do so based on the way they are behaving in the present. On the matter of the Desert Kingdom, frankly, what I believe they're in greater need of is a better public image manager. There's been recent outrage over the supposed exiling of all infected individuals of the Desert Kingdom. I earnestly believe government officials in Desert could have benefited from having a greater degree of rephrasing, as it was unclear that they were in fact indicating that their quarantine centers had been shifted to outside of their borders, so as to provide greater security to citizens in the event of a breakout, which has unfortunately become considered more of a win than an if. And of course, the Snow Kingdom. The Snow Kingdom's government has made itself complicit in hiding the infected status of the Plains Kingdom's viceroy. It has actively housed her, a known potential threat to others within its borders, actively putting its own citizens at risk of being harmed by someone who has already been discovered to be killing and torturing people under the influence of the Skulk. She may have been far in the mountains, but it certainly did not keep her from visiting the heart of an urban center in the Plains Kingdom, which is to say that at the time she could not have easily done so for Snow or for any other kingdom or location throughout all of the kingdoms for that matter. Though there is no doubt that Ivy Kelting does not truly mean any harm, the fact of the matter is that the progression of her infection has made her a high risk, one that the Snow Kingdom was evidently more eager to protect than its own people. There is also the subject of Grace, ruler of the Plains Kingdom, and Winter, ruler of the Kingdom, who have been acting as the joint rulers of every kingdom since the end of the 7-Year War as the kingdoms begin to stabilize and rebuild after such devastating conflict. By this point, it is clear enough that the kingdoms and their governments have been able to hold their own, even with questionable honesty. Does it really remain necessary for the desert, sky, nether, and water kingdoms to be ruled by individuals who stake their priorities, their culture, and their upbringing not in their lands, but in those of the plains and the snow kingdoms? It is clear that the governments each have their own outlook on how to rule and maintain their respective kingdoms, and it is even clearer that these ideas will inevitably come to clash with that of the two rulers. We have reached a point where it does not seem as though two people who have not lived lives in the four other kingdoms should be able to hold power over every other kingdom in the mainlands. This is an arrangement that is meant to be designed to be short term, not long term, and if a transition away from it is not made, it is likely that discontent will grow among citizens who feel that, as autonomous states, they should not be led over by those who should be prioritizing their own kingdoms rather than stretching their attentions to all six. A leader's attention should not have to be split among 6 very different kingdoms with very different ways of life, and simply by nature of their main positions as rulers of the plains and the snow kingdoms, they will prioritize their own kingdoms before that of the others. Even then, the attention that should be placed on issues in their own kingdoms is diverted to those that other kingdoms should be able to handle on their own by this point. Down the line, this will only lead to a failure to maintain any one kingdom at all, and as such must be addressed while it still can be. Ahem. Ultimately, the kingdoms are soon to present themselves with a dead hand at the rate they are going in their politics and their policies. They are a snake that will eat itself alive should it not learn how, if not to cooperate, and to merely coexist in a manner that honors their history of countless years. Mutually assured destruction, caused by tearing themselves apart, grossly misusing its authority, or even worse, being too incompetent to use its authority at all, is what lies for the mainland kingdoms until moves are made for the better, instead of officials haplessly defending themselves and playing the "we thought was for the best," or "I personally disagreed," or "I didn't know" cards. The people do not care about what you had thought or what you had said. The people care about what you have done and what you will do to fix it. The words of the government, even at their very best, their most earnest and the most good intentioned, will only ever be an explanation and never an excuse. Thank you for your time.
All right. I think there were a few people that wanted to make statements or questions about that, by the way.
I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to answer many of their questions. I have previously said I am only on behalf of a person would like not
I
to
see.
identify themselves.
I see. If there's anyone that wants to make comments about that, regardless, you feel free to speak one at a time, and only 4 people can.
Can I go
May I
first?
comment?
Can
I'll
I
go
also
Go
after
do
you.
ahead. Go ahead, Ruben, because they mentioned it first.
it? So obviously gonna be defending the desert slightly here. Only on the when epilepsy got mentioned, we stating that the kingdoms all support her is false. The desert doesn't fully support epilepsy, so please don't compare us to that. Because, like, if you guys don't know
fully
the history,
support.
some of our members do, majority don't. If you're unaware, for a time she was exiled from the desert.
Just like she was exiled from the plains, no?
Yeah, but she was exiled from the desert before being exiled from the other kingdoms. Majority of the desert does not support her.
See.
For the quarantine thingy and exiling, yeah. I've said what I know about that. I do think that was handled poorly. So I do agree with that.
Alright. Sunny, you had a comment as well.
I feel like speeches such as that are trying, not intentionally maybe, but are worded in a way to focus less on the issue of the skulk at hand and more on our differences and our failures. We shouldn't be focusing on our failures right now. We should be focusing on how we can stop this infection. Once we can stop this infection, then we can start focusing on the failures. But right now, we can't be seeing each other as different. We have to see each other as allies. We have to see each other as equals. If we're being driven apart by speeches such as this, we cannot allow them. We have to be on the same page. If we're going to even have a chance at surviving and curing this infection, we have to be on the same page. We can't be noticing each little difference. We can't be noticing each little disparage in ruling or policy. We have to be on the same page. We can't tear each other apart.
I will respond to that as myself, not in the names of some other person. But regarding that, why can't we deal with more than one problem at once? We have several governments, we have several members of governments, and yet we are deciding to instead focus on one problem. I don't think that's the function of a government. I don't think that's the function of the kingdoms to only focus on one problem. So why do you believe that is something that should be done?
I firmly believe that in the current moment, it doesn't matter what government we're talking about. I firmly believe that due to the virality of this infection and due to how many people it's affecting, it should be our only priority right now. It's not to say that these other priorities don't exist. They do. There's eminently some corruption. There's eminently some people abusing their positions. There's eminently other issues we need to face. But our main focus should be on the spreading skulk. Because if we don't focus on that, there's not going to be any kingdoms left to fix.
I
there's
mean, but
gonna
that's
be
the problem,
there's
isn't there? If of course the skulk is the main focus, but as Pancake said, do kingdoms plan to fix things if even if the governments aren't all trying to do the same thing anyways? Like you say, we are focusing on Skulk. Skulk is, of course, the main issue as of now because it is infecting so many members of kingdoms, and yet, of course, as we know, kingdoms are still making an effort to hide their information. Kingdoms are still making an effort to cause problems. It's I'm not saying skulk isn't a bad thing, but there's always the opportunity to focus on more than one problem. And that is the function of a government to focus on more than one problem.
the reason not much information is being talked about is because we don't know that much information. If we knew, we would be telling you. If we knew, we would be.
You
Regarding the
you sorry, you are a member of the Plains government and you would still talk about exposing information that you have? As we know, as I'm sure everyone at this meeting knows, it was your kingdom that would still hide the information that your viceroy of all people, the person right below your Queen Grace, was the person that their infection was hidden. And as I said earlier, Ivy was still among the public. Ivy was still among your people. But you still hid that. You are a member of the government, and do not say that you would not hide information because that is already what your government and your kingdom has done. Anyways, if there is no more questions regarding something like that, we do have one more speaker.
I have one more question.
Yes?
Um, so I understand that the common enemy is obviously the skulk, and we'd probably like to get rid of it. But also, this is more of just a thinking question. How are we supposed to focus on the common enemy when we can't trust the people that are fighting it with us?
That is exactly my point, and that is exactly the point of so many people at this meeting. I want to trust the kingdoms. I'm not against the kingdoms in a way that I don't even want to trust them. I am against the kingdoms in a way that I feel as if they have almost, or that most of them have proven that they cannot be fully trusted. But I want to trust and I want to believe in others. But it has grown harder and harder to do such a thing. And I would only like that trust to be regained.
doesn't seem
Thank
like
you.
you want trust to be regained.
Well, you already broke that trust initially, you and your kingdom. So I don't see
Well,
why
we're
I
trying
have
to
to.
extend an olive branch back out.
I think arguing on this
I feel like
topic
we're
is
the ones who are
pointless.
being pushed away right now.
Well, you're the one that just said your kingdom has never lied before, so I think that was just another
I
lie
didn't say
to
we'd
add
never
to the.
lied.
You said you would expose, or what was it that you said? You said that the Plains Kingdom would inform their people about any information, and that no information would be hidden from the public if it was known about. But yet, here we are, and the main problem that has been discussed at this meeting was the hidden information that your viceroy was infected. Or am I getting things wrong here, or what?
We're trying
Okay.
to make amends. We are trying to make right. We acknowledge that stuff has been hidden. We're trying to correct that. We're trying to make things right, but it seems like you're trying to push us away.
I'm. I don't see how I'm the one pushing you away when you are the one that has constantly lied to the people. But, Ruben, I forgot your character's name, but you were going to say something?
Just arguing about this does not seem logical. You both have your own stances on it, and I think if you continue arguing, we're gonna go in circles.
I mean, undoubtedly, but I still felt that it was something to be discussed. But does anybody have any more questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit.
If there is distrust among the public between kingdoms, then I believe that the people themselves should be the ones gathering. Like these meetings, they should be the ones that allocate research. Not saying the kingdoms don't do this, but if people themselves, those infected included, have disdain towards them, they should also help for such. But maybe that is just my 2 cents.
Of course, of course. I have one more person that is wanting to speak tonight, and I suppose you have 5 minutes to speak. Wait, so you
Yeah,
better
I'm gonna call bullshit on Mr. Plains Kingdom, dude.
Well, hold on. We're trying to let one more person speak before the kingdom shut down.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Where's he at? Oh wait, no, I was thinking of the wrong person. You get up here, wherever you want. I just saw you. There you go. Speak my good.
Woo! Everyone. My name is Elliot, and I am from the Snow Kingdom, and I am representing my boss, Vasca, from the Snow Kingdom, and also the owner of Winter Market. Yes. So I am speaking on behalf of Vasca. Yes. Okay. Let me start. Uh, the Winter Market has always been a place for openness and safety. We have welcomed all who enter in good faith, and we have remained committed to protecting them. Yes. Months ago, a young skulk investigator named Juno visited the market to assess the amount of skulk potentially present, and we cooperated fully and explained every question asked of us. um, During her visit, Juno disclosed serious concerns regarding our sister town, Venzor, and its mayor, Amma. And she stated that the skulk had been knowingly concealed within the town by them, despite the risk that it posed to the public. And we, the Winter Market, condemns any action that knowingly places others in danger through like secrecy and like or inaction. And we oppose the work of the Skulk investigators for contributing. We will continue to prioritize the well being of our community, and we urge all kingdoms and third parties involved to act openly and responsibly moving forward. Uh, yes, that was a message from Vasca. Thank you.
Well, that was our last speaker for the night. Now that it is actually nighttime. Um, before we officially leave, in this lovely meeting. No way, bro. I hear them coming down, raining down. But does anybody have any more questions or any more comments they feel they want to make before this event officially ends?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Hold on, I'm not in the actual server, but permission to use my tongue freely.
As long as it doesn't go longer than 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Bullshit on Mr. Plains, dude.
They can always go to them and explain what they know.
I'm sorry if you're hiding a bunch of stuff from the people, and then ultimately being like, "Yeah, we're actually trying to make peace." Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on that. This is Irene. Thank you.
Okie dokie. Does anybody else have any more comments they feel the need to make? Questions?
I do.
Yes.
That's all right. I do think that what the kingdoms did was condemnable. But from what I've heard from this meeting, giving them a way to regain the trust of the people might be in order if we want to fight the skulk together.
And I don't disagree with that, but initially coming to a meeting in which we're trying to gain trust beneath the people and saying a blatant lie such as that is not the way to do it.
Agreed.
Any more questions?
I have one question, if I may.
Yes.
What is the plan for those who are deemed too far gone to be cured?
I am not necessarily the person to ask such a thing, and I am not, and I will answer in the way that I'm the mayor of the town you all are currently located in. But for those that have been infected to the point that they are no longer able to be cured, then I think the point from that, what am I saying? The goal from that point on is simply to preserve quality of life, or at least attempt to. No one knows how far the skull can get, I believe. I believe even Ivy, the Plains Viceroy, has gotten so far, but there's still things to be learned about the Skulk, and I won't deny that either. But I think if it gets to a point where it's uncurable, it's just preserving quality of life while ensuring that no one else is getting infected.
The thing I will say is, as an alchemist and someone that looks into Skulk, if you are infected to a point of where you do not think you can be cured, live your life the best as you can. Find joy and happiness where you can. If you are a researcher or a scientist and you wish to study it, study it. The Skulk is not something that one person will understand, or one kingdom, or one group. It is something we all have to come together. Simply live. That is what we're all trying to do here. To live.
Of course. Does anyone have anything else to say or ask?
Oh, yes. I would like to ask a question for you. Um, in your opinion, what would be the best way that the kingdoms could gain trust into the people with such as would you
Oh
think it
no,
would
bro.
be about oh, oops, sorry.
1 second. It's the daily reset, so it's gonna be
Continue
a
as if we're
second.
still there.
Yeah.
We're darn spirit.
Was that your entire
Is
question?
everybody still in the server?
I forgot what I said before.
No, it's the daily
Would you
reset.
think just by taking accountability would be enough, or would you think they need to do more? And if so, what would you suggest?
I think at this point it's just they have to extend this, I don't know quite the word or how to explain it very well, but it's just a matter of proving once again to their own people that they can be trusted. It's not something that the people have to do, it's something that the kingdoms and the government has to do to prove that once again they can be trusted. Because at this point, I understand many people have grown unsure of whether or not they can truly trust the people that have been elected or chosen to lead them.
Thank you so much for answering.
Of course. Does anybody else have any more questions or concerns or comments? I will take that as a no. So, once again, thank you everyone for coming and enjoying this meeting. And thank you so much to everyone that took the time to speak and take the time to listen. You're free to stick around, talk amongst each other if you please. You're free to talk to me. I will be around, so feel free to talk if you want to. But feel free to venture off. Also, the server's back on, so get back online.